What up, Chad? How we doing? What up, CJ? Sachin, a wise man, Vish, Toasted, TCM. How you doing? Charts are going nowhere. So far, yeah. I'm watching here to see if there's a possible entry. What up, Wills? I'm not going to lie, and a lot of people might disagree with this, but I'm really not opposed to like broader term longs. Mainly just looking at the overall range to hold for at least a little bit. I'm not talking like a crazy trade overall, but I think risk to reward on longs is definitely worth it. Also, because the dollar's rejecting the higher end of the range. Obviously, the dollar closed. It'll open back up around 8. So we'll be able to look at that. There's just a lot of things like gold hitting this support, the dollar hitting this bigger resistance, the indices as well. Yes, the dailies aren't the strongest candles, but NQ's hitting the lower end of the daily range. ES is still just consolidating around here. RTY is at a big support. YM's at a support as well. I think I'm going to take it, even though I might be early in a sense. I took an entry long on ES. I have a stop at 43. What up, Jake? Dude, I saw for the giveaways, Chad needed Columbia to win, and they lost in penalties. ES essentially not moved since the 30th. Yeah, I'm just trading the range at the moment. That's also why I put the stop here. In reality, if I wanted to run a tight stop in this trade, I would put it at the open. But since we are ranging, I'm not being overly aggressive with it. Transparency, this isn't eval that I'm like 675 away from passing. So that's what I'm currently trading. Do you think we're going to fill the gap that NQ created? I don't pay too much attention to the gaps. We can rally up there. I mean, it's 40 points on NQ. I would anticipate that at some point to fill. If it doesn't and we end up rejecting back lower, then NQ will likely be a pretty bearish chart. So this is one early stab that I'm willing to take, just trading off the range. If we end up pushing back to the lower end of the range, is what it is. But I'm just rocking an eval at the moment. But we got a little 5-minute push that I wanted. The 2 triggered exactly how I wanted as well. Hourly's more so an inside bar. The thing here is if we don't break the highs, hourly's an inside bar. Not a whole lot to do on it. So even if I just don't take this, it'd be sitting cash for the most part. What up, DJR? What up, Dev? What up, Jose? Divergence nasty work has me so hesitant I almost can't trade. TZM, no problem with not doing that, right? If you don't like the divergences on the higher time frames between ES and NQ, either don't trade them or just be very, very cautious for trades. I've been. But as long as well, close to being stopped. Yeah, Elder. I mean, this is one that I definitely think is worth the stab for taking. Even if you have, let's say, more of like an Allen style trade where you're looking for something like that, I could see that clear as day without a problem. It's just playing the risk factor on it for me. And I'll definitely pay attention to it up around like the 55 area. But if we get above 55, you have room up into these prior lows from the end of the day. What up, Maverick? How you doing? By the way, chat, something I did want to go over is a few trades that I took. Because some of y'all know I was up on Allen's stream. Tonight is a requirement to get some sleep because I ended up waiting. We talked about 65 yesterday on stream towards the end of stream. I waited for all of this. Instead of shorting it, I don't know why, I just waited for the long. Waited for us to get all the way down to 65. We finally tested it. I took this long during Allen's stream for like 12.5 points with 4 points of risk. So little sleep deprived off this. You know, this trade closed at 3:30 in the morning. Fell asleep at like 4:15s. Not, you know, it'd be like that. But so I was 2 for 2 on the overall day. Lost this trade obviously on stream, small short stab, which crazy. We got stopped on this overall short trend. Happens. Caught this one after stream. Took this one during the day on New York. This was the initial stab of yesterday's lows, which I was willing to take as well. So this came down. I took the long on the first test of it just to see if it would hold on a broader scale. Stopped me out there, and then I waited for it to set up with more conviction the second time and took this once we swept this low and held the prior day low for the second time. So I was 2 for 2 yesterday, ended decently green, but this is also why risk reward matters a lot. So I was down off losses 2R. Off the wins, 3.1 and 3.8. So about 7R to the upside, which is I also looked at all my stats recently today. Right now, I have like a 53% win rate, which I'm not like the happiest about. But with the way I trade, that means you're green. So I can't be mad about it. How many evals do you actively look to pass? Dev, usually I cap it around like 4, unless I'm doing really well. Do you think we close that gap on ESNQ? Yeah. If it was like a crazy gap down, maybe not. But us being 4 points away on ES and 40 points on NQ, I would be shocked if that didn't fill at some point. Now, how we react to that is going to be pretty important overall. Dev, that just depends. If I'm trading, usually what I do is I get payouts and then I start stacking more accounts, which is my strategy with it. And if, let's say, I have 1 or 2 evals in a bit of drawdown or close to the liquidation limit, I'll start buying evals and I'll just slowly trade them. I'm not in like a huge rush to get an account to the funded aspect, but I'll slowly trade them. What up, Ron? What up, Anth? What up, Trader W? How y'all doing? Yeah, so I went 2 for 2 overall yesterday. 2 stops and about 7R to the upside on these 2 trades. So yesterday, whatever you want to call it, ended nice. But very sleep deprived for that last night trade. Which is why I did actually take a nap today for the first time in months. Pass the eval, go to a copper, never lets me down. Hell yeah, Maverick. Now you got to get that payout on it. Yeah, I'm in a long in this range. What up, Hitch? Hitch, don't judge me. But main reason I'm looking at this long is just holding supports, right? We have NQ down at the lower end of the range, looking to see if it can get a little bit of a pushback higher. I am in ES. Obviously, it's slightly stronger to NQ, so I have no problem trading that. If this one stops me out, is what it is, right? I'm just trading this range, see if we get continuation higher on it. And I think we have a pretty solid support at the open, which is why I have mine just below this lower wick here. Because obviously if we break this lower wick, we should go down to there. I don't like that we keep rejecting the higher end though, which is something to pay attention to. So if we keep rejecting the higher end of it, NKD is trying to push lower as well. Hitch, how many what is there per day? What a short. Hell yeah, Bugs. Zay. Either or here. We are in this range after a longer downtrend. I'm just more so playing the broader range on it. And I'll be paying a lot of attention up around like 55s if we get there. Just because that's where a decent resistance is. But this would be a longer trade most likely if it worked for me, getting above this, pushing up to here. But we have all the indices kind of trailing above their open, possibly fighting their open. If they lose it, this could easily break lower. Easily. Because we do have room down to yesterday's lows if we want to tag that. I'm just trading off the daily supports for the most part. ES is still technically in a daily consolidation up near the highs. I'm not bearish on this chart by any means. But if we break below today's lows, then I would start to flip a little more bearish on it. But overall, RTY is ranging. ES is more so ranging. NQ is at the lower end of the range. I think at the moment, I'm willing to trade the market either way. I just happen to be in a little long here. But for those of you just hopping on, this is an eval, being transparent. Because I need one more day to pass it. How many lives? There is 5. Appreciate you, Alad. What up, right guy? How you doing, brother? I watched a live about the Gamma stuff today. I didn't understand much of it. I still don't understand a lot of it. And I watch a majority of Mitch's streams and I talk to him personally about Gamma. There's a lot to it. It's a lot of valuable information. I feel like it's just, he talks about it from a very professional, like in a very professional language, which just takes a little bit to understand more. Ron Zhang, Rake, Gamma, Mitch. Gamma is Mitch. So Gamma then Lamelli would be the correct way. So you got 60% off. I got 50. Just finished watching the Columbia game. Dude, chat was so close to going 2 for 2 against Jake. So close. For those that don't know, I'm sure most of you were on Jake's stream, at least for part of it. Jake gave the chat, who was it? Argentina and Colombia. Well, chat picked Argentina and Colombia for the wins. Argentina, you guys almost lost giveaways for a century if they lost. That would have been brutal, being 0 for 4 against Jake. Luckily, they came back. So you guys won that. And then I think Colombia lost. So you guys are 1 and 3 against Jake because you're fighting for your giveaways back. Missed the dip buy before the war started again on oil. JT, we'll see on oil. Yes, I've talked about I'm interested in oil longs on a certain aspect. But this chart, like, yes, it has interest with the overall volume and buying pressure it's getting, but is it going to hold? Because so far, what we're doing over in the straight is the same stuff we've been doing for every other peace talk aspect, where they attack ships, which they've attacked 4, kind of crazy. And then we attack them for attacking ships. Now, if they attack us back, we're probably going to see some downside during the session. Probably going to see a little bit. All right, so we are still holding the open. As long as we hold above the open, I lean more bearish or bullish than bearish. But if we do break below the open, I would anticipate that stop to get hit, and then I'll start to flip more so neutral. One thing I am opening myself up to more, because I realized I was not watching back, but analyzing trades from the streams lately. I've been taking mainly like one trade per stream. I want to up that number. If I take a losing trade, to be open to taking like two. What do you think about gold? It might sell off to 39.70. Gold's interesting here because we're retesting. This is what I want to watch on gold. I want to see how we react to these two highs. Because if we come down and retest this is just a retest of the overall breakout, and gold can easily push right back up into this 4,200 area. Now, if we lose that, yes, gold can start to get more bearish. But if we hold that on a broader scale, it's kind of healthy, right? You're just watching this chart go up, pull back, retest this. You have to watch how we react to this. If we hold, you start looking towards like 150s to 200s. If we end up breaking it and getting weaker, then you start looking down towards 40, 50s. So those would be like my main areas on gold here. But the 4,100 is a massive support for me. And it's just, how are we going to react to that? Are we going to respect it, or are we going to break below it? If we break below it, things get pretty ugly. Not even really ugly, but we just get back into this little daily range down here that's not that favorable. But even on the daily chart, it doesn't look bad. This also builds a little bit of my thesis for the overall long. It's just retesting on the daily chart. Yes, this daily candle is more bearish, but I pay a lot of attention to the overall support. Yes, individual candle structure matters to me, but not as much as like broader structure. What up, MD? Live. I don't trade on TradingView. I just throw these on so that way you guys can see it, and then you can obviously see my positions right there below me. I use not the most expensive TradingView version, the one right below it that gets you the 4-grid charts, that one. And then the CME data bundle is the biggest thing you need. What up, AXP? How you doing? But yes, if you trade on TradingView, I believe the firm should be providing market data. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. What's your target? Up around 62, 61, 62s. I buy all my subscriptions on TradingView, personally. I've had TradingView for 5, maybe 6 years now. But yeah, I buy it all on TradingView. Yep, the CME data bundle is a monthly subscription that's like $7, which isn't nuts. Dev, I'm not sure what SK Hinks is. Yeah, Zay, structurally, I don't think, like, I'm just not as bearish as a lot of people are on the broader market. Just because, like, there's so much support in this area. Like, we're not, if this is a 5-minute chart, I'm not overly bearish here. I'm more neutral. I want to figure out what way this daily is looking like it wants to go, you know? And that's kind of just how I view this. But also the dollar too. Yes, the dollar is decently strong here, right? Just got a strong rally. But if you zoom out a little bit, dollar's still trying to fight this little downtrend. Biggest thing is how we react tomorrow on the dollar for me. Because we did get a little bit of a daily fail to go lower, held this prior support here. But now we're sitting up at the higher end of the range. If we reject this, we could easily build a daily range out, which is what everything is currently doing. If anyone was watching for the gap fill, there's that on ES. Remember, I do want to pay attention to 55 and how we react to it. At this point, though, I'm going to trail stop up to 45. So risk is now going to be 175. So my stop is at the open. Because there's no way, if you look at this chart, we should get back to the open. If we get back to the open, stop me out. Yeah, right, guy. I'm pretty sure if you trade on a prop firm, the data is included for TradingView if you sync them. But don't fully quote me on that. Obviously, do your own due diligence. Interesting, Vish. Yeah, Zay, I'm sure that did. But we're obviously seeing a little bit of relative strength on ES compared to NQ. NQ barely broke above the highs, while ES got a decent bit of momentum. How many days worth of OP do you keep as level? Ren, I view the opening print as a valid pivot point for that trading session. Now, the only difference is obviously I have this opening print marked in blue. If I go into New York tomorrow, I'll leave it marked. But once the day closes, I delete both levels. So I keep them marked for that full trading session. Then after that, I get rid of them. How important is the opening print for your trading decisions, or would market structure be the main criteria for entering a trade? Dev, market structure. You just have to know if we're below the opening print and we have a more bearish structure going against the overall trend, which is what it is. It just depends on the conviction with your overall setup and trade, right? Because there's going to be times where below the open, you get that like bounce, or you start to flip on the 5 and 15 minute time frames to give you somewhat of an uptrend. Like all of this trading here was below the opening print, right? And then obviously we got up near it, not quite near it, but then we set a lower high on the mid time frames and pushed back lower. But no, for me, a lot of people talk about the opening print as like a level because it does react, but it's also just to give you, are we green or red on that session, which can help give you a little bit of conviction. You mark OP for London or just Asia, New York? Just Asia, New York. Because I'm not usually trading the London time often. Obviously, yesterday's trade that I took was through the London Open right here. Because I closed it at 3:25 in the morning. So that one I held through the open a little bit, but I don't usually mark it. I've just never also tried marking it. $55 was OP on 7-2. I definitely wouldn't be, like me personally, I wouldn't be keeping opens from that long. But if it works for you, run it, right? If you find conviction in holding prior opens and leaving them on charts, and those are like your levels, use them. I'm sure we react to them, but at the same time, if you look at, let's say, this open on ES, you can tell so far it's a clear as day support, but if you go back a little bit to the intraday price action, it was a resistance here as well. So we just came down, opened right around this overall resistance, held it so far, and then we got the break above. So if you're trading that kind of pattern, you just look resistance there, held it. Where would you kind of look? For me, it would be this resistance. See how we react to 55? We get over 55, we target up here around that like 62s. Which is why I'm targeting up there. We'll see though, there is a chance this trade might not get full continuation, but so far we're getting some nice moves. We need to see how this 15 closes in 5 minutes. 5-minute little inside bar is good. As long as we don't get below like 48.50s, then we're fine. What up, Logan? Hell yeah, brother. Mark out the 8 a.m. 1 hour range, then wait till 10, watch it break the range, and you got your direction. There's more to it, but look at the history of recently. Agreed, Cole. Yeah, you're just looking at the overall pre-market structure. I mean, I do that a lot for the New York session. As you looked here too, broke this low on the overall pre-market, absolute flushed. Held it a few times. Once we finally broke it, just straight flushed. Same thing with the upside. If we would have broken above like 85s, we probably would have rallied up towards 600s. But yeah, I love using that little bit of pre-market data for my morning plan. Doesn't work with chop though. That's because, you know, it's range. In theory, nothing works with range unless it's trading the range. Yeah, I don't trade the open at all. I don't like it. Even if I miss a trade like this, I know if the market's being volatile or just we're setting up any type of structure, there's going to be more trades throughout the day. They may be, let's say, lower risk to reward on it. But something I personally don't love is, I mean, 7 points isn't bad. But if you're in the morning volatility, I'd likely be running a stop like that. I don't want a 13-point stop. So at that point, I just wait. Usually around like 10:30 is, I've realized when I looked at my trading logs yesterday, 10:30 to about 2, both time slots, AM and PM, are where a decent majority of my trades come from. Interesting, MD. So that would probably fix the little bit of latency between like Trade Evade and Trading View sometimes. Because sometimes you'll notice Trade Evade will move and then Trading View will move. Or there's also times Trading View will move and then Trade Evade will move. But there's like a 1 or 2 second, maybe like a 1 second delay. So we got 57% of chat bullish, 43% bearish. Okay. Chat, how'd you guys trade there in New York? I know there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of people probably got faked into longs here. Can probably see that happening. I'm bearish, but not yet. Agreed. Killer sold early short per usual. Elder did be like that, brother. Especially when you're seeing this kind of volatility. I would assume you were likely in NQ, maybe. So let's say you got in on this 5-minute break. I mean, if you're talking 314 points, it takes some guts to catch that whole move. What's up, Doc? Cole, you can't start the beef yet. Got smoked. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. Which is interesting. When we get this overall volatility, a lot of people do get smoked because it's easier to get smoked, right? You start anticipating stuff and you get especially with the way we trade, at least the way I trade. Let's say you took some type of short here on this 5-minute technical sell. Well, then it just slammed back up higher, spiked you out, and then dumped. Which is what happened to us last night on stream. That's why in volatility, I usually size down and just use a little bit more aggressive stops and then trail the stop as it kind of gives conviction. Got in short when it was consolidating, sold for 200 points. Shy, kept seeing my P&L. I mean, Elder, it's kind of hard to complain about 200 points, you know? Yeah, MD, I watched that chart earlier too. We're at a pretty big support on the NKD. We're over around this 67, 600s, which I think is a pretty aggressive support. If we hold that, we can easily rally back higher as well. Now it's just, are we going to get continuation or are we just kind of stuck in this end of day range? Which so far we're a little stuck. 15 should have closed a little stronger with this candle here. From what we can see, yeah. 15 close stronger, 30 close strong. Obviously, we still have the hourly going. Hourly's not bad so far. And then we'll have the 4-hour kind of setting up, which only thing I would love more is if it spiked this low. But worst case scenario too, let's say we 4-hour inside bar. That does open us up to possibly get up towards that 61 area, towards this little 4-hour resistance aspect. And then later on towards the end or late end of stream, you see that rejection. But I think we could easily see continuation up towards 62s. I entered after Jake got stopped on a long. It'd be like that. What are my levels on GC chart? I don't know if I have detailed levels at the moment. Oh, 4,100, big. Big one is 4,100, which is just paying attention to these two little highs on the 4-hour. If we hold that, I'm anticipating that 4,150s again. It's gold. What I've realized loves to move in very whole numbers. So like 4,100, 4,150, 4,200. The hundreds are very big pivots and then usually 50s in between. But I have 4,100, 4,150, 4,200. And then obviously this little high here to about, so like 42.25 to like 42.45 is a decent resistance area. Above that, you look for a lot higher. To the downside, if we lose 4,100, I'd be looking for like 40.40 to 40.50. What are the rest of the indices doing? I don't like NQ for the most part. I mean, I like the 15 on ES. NQ is just struggling. Why I'm struggling a little bit as well. Of course, Esso. MD, what you mean no 4-hour top? Yeah, I saw that short to Asia low after the 4-hour close, but I missed it. Right off the open, yeah. The main thing I was watching, and I mentioned in Discord, is I wanted to see the 4-hour close before I did anything this morning. Just because of what it looked like structurally. It did not look that appealing to me. Which obviously we closed it, and then we got some aggressive selling. What up, stock market baby? How you doing? MD, you talking about on NKD? So you got a target up around 890s. Yeah, we're fighting here. This is also why I'm not trailing my stop a lot. I wouldn't be opposed if we weren't in this big of a range with this resistance right above us to have it at like 47, 46 fives. But I'm leaving it where it is in case it wants to get towards the upper end of this range a little bit. For now, though, it's just a waiting game for me. What up, Moke? How you doing? Just got my payout, waiting for it to process as we speak. Hell yeah, brother. I'm doing good. I'm doing wonderful. You know, normal me, though. Didn't sleep a whole lot this week. I think we got, let's see, maybe 10 hours the last 2 days. Maybe 11 up around there. So we're vibing. Go to sleep. I was trading last night, so I couldn't. MD, they already replied to you, brother. You must have missed it in chat. Cole said, "What's up, Doc? The Earth's flat," earlier. You gotta get rest. I'll get it tonight. I'm good. For me, it was just, normally I'm not always up that late. It was just trading. I was just, if the market's hot, market's hot. Problem is, I just have to do stuff around market open for some people and just for the market in general. Or I would probably have slept later today. So I was up at the open. I took a nap once we got, I think here. Like, I didn't even know the market sold off end of day until I got up at like 5:30. But no, my sleep schedule's been cooked. I was trading 3 a.m. EST. You and me both, Logan. You and me both. TCM, I chose Asia session. I was trading it for about 2 months in the Discord live before 365 started. You just have to know, like, if you have expectations for Asia, there's definitely phases with Asia session where you get really strong moves. Like, there will be times in Asia where you get this kind of breakout and you just never see the pullback to get in. But then you're going to get times where it does shit like this. Does it suck? Sometimes. I mean, I haven't been trading insanely well on Asia. My win rate overall has been like 53% lately. But with the way I trade, I'm green on it. I don't like it if we end up pushing aggressively back below like 47.5. At that point, I would anticipate the stop to be taken. Which, since we did move it, my risk is 175 versus the initial like 275. What up, Acer? Chat still punished for the giveaway? Yep. They almost had it back. They did. Obviously, they dropped the ball last night on USA. Horribly. Horrible bet. Jake was nice. That was only for 1 day. So at the moment, there's no giveaways today. And then Jake gave him 2 games today. They picked both. They almost lost the first one, but won when Argentina came back. And then they lost the second one. So I don't know where we're sitting. I don't know. Chat's 1-3 against Jake right now. Not looking good for sports bettors in the chat. Not looking great. You know, the little D-gens out there. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Dang, missed my short entry. The one thing I don't love is we didn't even get up to 55. I would have wanted to see how we reacted there, and we couldn't even get up to there yet. So it's not a good look overall, especially NQ back below the open. Because now that hourly gets more bearish than bullish. Which I just got wicked out there on that push lower. So unfortunate. Got the breakout, couldn't get the continuation we wanted. It's interesting because NQ didn't even go up to fill that gap. My overall thesis would flip more bearish in the next probably 10-15 minutes if we get a more aggressive close. I think you need to go a bit lower before coming up again. I got kind of far away from stop loss to cover that stuff. Yeah. I mean, if we start pushing back down towards like 37s here, that wouldn't shock me personally. That would not shock me personally. Hell yeah, Logan, little scalp. What's NKD doing? Pushing a little lower. Dude, it's just NQ. If NQ didn't have this much bearish pressure, we'd be chilling. But that thing is dragging the market down. What is gold doing? Gold's trying to hold. Oil, slow, steady. Dollar's not open yet, so don't need to look at that. What are broader names doing? After hours. What's getting smoked today? MU down another 2.5% already. Chart's getting cooked. All right, so we down 175 on this eval for now. If NQ can get below 29,270, I'm shorting it to the ground. 29,270. Last week's lows. Yeah, I can see that fully. Because we already swept those lows today, obviously. But if we end up getting back below it, that's pretty aggressive. That, and then you have a little bit more support around 170s. If we end up getting that huge push through that, that can look pretty ugly. I had a limit order to push back up into that second 5-minute down bar. I was supposed to risk 300 for 600 back to Asia support. Back to that second 5-minute down bar. Here, yeah, that's what it looks like. Thoughts on SpaceX? I don't love it. I really don't. That daily looks horrible. I mean, you guys have heard me before. I want SpaceX below 100, personally. Do I know anything about the financial aspect of it? No, other than the fact that it makes like 10% of what Amazon makes annually. And it was worth more than Amazon at one point. The craziest thing to me is I saw 2 different analysts today say SpaceX is valued at 235. And I just want to know their reasoning behind those numbers. But at the moment, like, I want SpaceX well below 100. Wholeheartedly. If we get double digit SpaceX, then I'll really start to look at the chart and be like, all right, what can we kind of do here? But this fits the whole thesis of what I wanted since the beginning. Build structure overall on this chart. Give me some type of daily to really trade off of. Then I get interested. And we just don't have enough data yet for me to do anything with it. Yeah, Rain, I really wanted to see us react to 55, but we couldn't get up there. Yeah, Andrew, I've always thought it was way overpriced. Thoughts on IBM if you can? Of course. I'm not actively stalking trades, so yeah. I mean, you're coming up into this, and then you'd have more of a daily support here. I mean, what do you do on this chart? Unless you're looking for a bigger rejection. Like, what do you do with this daily after this kind of rally? It looks like it's slow grinding higher, which isn't bad. It looks like it has a very steady hourly trend. So at this point, I would just say follow the hourly. But I don't. Monthly looks fine. I don't like the big failure to go higher over all-time highs. I don't know. It's not a chart. You guys know, normally when I look at a chart and I love it immediately. This is one of those charts where I'm like, eh. I think it needs time on the daily, right? Either give me some type of daily like this, something like that to be able to trade off of, or give me something, pull back and see how that reacts, go back up. There's nothing for me to do on the daily because it just feels like a bit of a chase from a risk to reward perspective. If ES holds this and rips back higher, we're fighting. Cooked the chicken, then dumped. Zay, welcome to A's session lately, brother. Breakout 135 on SpaceX. Is that the low? One thing I'm kind of shocked about is how quickly they threw this in the NASDAQ. 135? Brother, we get below 145, this thing's cooked. 145 and that thing's going good night. Shorting the gap fill actually looked good. Yeah, I wanted to see NQ get up there. My main thesis was looking up towards 55 on ES, retesting this little high from end of day. Anywhere between like 54, 55. And then at that point, NQ would have been up, filling that gap, and I would have looked off of it. People got it for 135 before going public. Bet. What up, user? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you, Ollie. Also, chat, I know there's no giveaways today, but that's because y'all gambled. You guys gambled unresponsibly and lost. Like the stream. Help us get some support. Hit the like button. Live for Christ. Which prop firm can you recommend me for a beginner with decent rules? All right, there's going to be two. And they're basically the exact same. Tradeify Select. If you pass the eval, go for the 5-day plan. Or Lucid Flex. Ali the Legend put both links in the chat for us. Those are the two I lean towards. Those are the two I trade personally. Main reason is you have an end of day drawdown, so you don't have to worry about it. And then you don't have like a consistency rule unfunded. You gotta start having emergency giveaways for us. TCM, I'm gonna be honest. Like, y'all gotta earn them. Y'all gotta earn them. With the gambling, y'all are losing. What does end of day drawdown mean? It means it goes off of your account balance at the end of the trading day, where there's another type of drawdown that's intraday trailing that goes from your largest P&L unrealized on the session. So since this account that I'm on has end of day, I lost 175. I still have, what's the drawdown math on that? I don't want to do math. I still have a little over 1,800 in drawdown on that. If I was on the intraday trailing, it would have taken this P&L that I was up like 200 plus the 175, and I would be down to like 575. I'm sad because I can't see AXP not win the giveaway. That's crazy. That's crazy, Vish. USA Soccer gambling? Yeah, user. They've been gambling on soccer with Jake. And chat, who's claiming soccer pros, have been getting smoked. Yeah, live. If you see, there is one firm that I am okay with trailing drawdown, and that is TPT. Yes, I agree. Intraday is dumb. But the overall trailing, I agree with it on TPT just because of the risk parameters for the firm, right? That's how they stay alive. So most of the time, if you see that intraday, you need some type of stronger pro to outweigh that con, which is their overall profit that you can take. Have you taken any trades yet? I took this one trade. We were in profit a little bit. I wanted to see how we reacted to 55. If we got above that, I was looking towards 62s. But we got up, hit like 53s, and then slammed back lower. So I'm cash for now. I was on an eval and I lost 175. I was too early on the short. Yeah, Zay. Like I said, now this is where my thesis can easily flip because we start looking at the hourly. Right? If we get this big failure here, not a great look. Not a great look at all. Wait and see now. 10 minutes left. Toasted. That's what I'm waiting for. Waiting for that hourly candle. Which this is when we usually start to get conviction in overall setup because we're getting towards the later end of the hourly bar. Live for Christ, if you use code RT as well, I think, what is Lucid's discount right now, chat? $40 off, I think, if you use code RT. Oh, Lucid upped their prices a little bit. Oh, wait, no, that's the Pro. No, they didn't. Never mind. It's 40 for the Pro, not the Flex. What's the Flex then? Because mine showed a discount on Flex. Is it 35? Thanks, user. It took me a little bit to set that up, but that is all live data. I think it updates every like 10 or 15 seconds. It's not like perfect, but it's what I was able to do with Claude. Yeah, MD, that would be nice to have stuff like that integrated. I know what a lot of people do though is like Mitch, he uses third party for Gamma, and then he used Claude to create a coding system to make that indicator for him. 30 on Flex? Bet. Wait for the new 4-hour at 10. Yeah, slightly toasted. That's why I love trading around 10, like 10 to 11, because you get that new 4-hour close. TCM, you're saying the pros are better for growing versus the flexes? What is your reasoning on that? Okay, live for Christ. So consistency is just your largest day can't be more than 50% of the total profits. And I'll pull this up for you. So if you look at this and you're on the flex with Lucid, 25K, you have 1250 for your profit target. You want your largest day to be around like 625, 630. And you just don't want it to be over that. So you can make 50% of your total profits in one. This is why I like the flex, because if you go to funded rules, there's no consistency. Where if you go to the pro in the funded rules, you have a 40% consistency. I personally don't like consistency on funded accounts. I'm okay with it on evals because it is what it is, right? It's the cost you pay. But I like the aspect of not having to worry about the consistency on funded accounts and just focusing on the 5 days of profit. Because then I can let trades run and I can do what I want to do with it. I don't have to micromanage it to worry about a consistency rule. Which TCM, that's why I prefer Flex over Pro. It's just the only difference between them is just where the consistency is. I believe the Pros, you can get larger payouts though. Shorts hitting hard. They are, brother. They are. What up, Seven? Oh, what I'm looking at right now is just Asia close or Asia open. We have a pretty weak hourly candle now with this big failure here. I took an early stab around here. Got this little bit of a rally, ended up getting stopped. I moved stop a little bit, so I lost like 175, which y'all know is like half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, somewhere around there. And now I'm just watching to see what we do for Asia Open, how we react. Only thing I really don't want to see is us close back at like 44s, because then we just have a very neutral hourly bar. And what do we do at that point? How big of a move was this off this 5? So 5 triggered, 10 points, not crazy, not bad though. NQ should be more, 80. What up, Bass? How you doing? What does it mean, buffer requirement on payout rules? What account are you looking at? Buffer requirement is a threshold that you have to get over to be eligible for a payout. Most of those are going to be above the trail area, but that's another reason why I like the flexes, right? The flexes, you just need to make the 5 days of profit, then you're eligible for a payout. Agreed, Cole. Anam, yes. The 4-hour chart is different from TOS to Trading View. So if you look at both of those, you will see a drastic difference. The main thing, and I don't fully understand this with TOS, this 4-hour on TradingView opens at 6 p.m. right? And you get 4 full hours of trading. TOS, you get 3 hours, I believe, on this first candle, and the last candle is 4 hours. Because obviously there's 1 hour missing, so you're gonna have 1 3-hour candle. This candle is a 3-hour candle, but on TOS, I believe it's a 4-hour candle. So you have a full hour difference between every single candle between those two charting platforms. Working as an unpaid prop guide. Bitch, I'm just here to help you guys. Cool. The greatest thing is there'll be more trades. MD, when I use Bookmap, I use TOS. I like it. Is 479 crazy to think about? 7, I'm going to guess that's on ES, 479. I mean, you have a brick wall around 530s, but if we break 530s, no, not at all. Especially because you start looking at the daily chart, we'd be losing the prior day lows. NQ would likely be breaking this overall support. If we lose those, the dollar face rips a little bit. Not going to look great. Cole, for me, it's just go to a certain time frame and finding overall support resistance. A lot of people do them differently, right? It just depends on what aspects you like. Mitch uses Gamma, which gives him actual protected areas. So it does help to have some type of level 2 conviction behind it. And then I use like daily lows, daily highs, weekly lows, weekly highs as pivots. And then on stream, I go to these 15-minute areas. So I'll go to the 15, see where we've been respecting, and I draw them out that way. It all depends. The levels on this chart are from 4-hour broader pivots. So that's just something to look at and be like, all right, this was where we might respect, which you can see I talked about 530s. That's a really big support there for me on this one. So it just depends what time frame you want to find overall pivots from. I know you're more of a scalper, so you'd probably want some emphasis on higher time frames, but a decent emphasis on like mid to low. Live for Christ, it should be tricode RT. Perfect. Hell yeah, brother. Appreciate the support. What up, Mosfab? Your short ES got out early. A lot of people have been talking about that. Chad, now what we want to pay attention to is how we react to this low. Because we have 538s. We haven't broke it yet. Now we broke it. Are we going to get broader continuation with NQ leading the way, or is it going to hold? Dream World, if I want to short, would be a retest of like 43s. But I don't know if that's going to happen if we get aggressive selling here. Woke up with the sun on my face. No regrets, just a little grace. Feeling light, windows down, I hit the road. Let the rhythm take control. Rolling free. Life's too short to waste a day. Shake it off, just move your way. Okay. Sorry, I was reading something real quick. Turn the dark into a song. Sing along. Head high, no looking back. Let it go, stay on track. On track. Every step becomes a spark. Yeah, Cole, that's how I view them. Support, resistance, supply, and demand. Even if I mark individual levels, like let's say yesterday's low at 530s, well, 529.50. It's not just going to be this finite exact area. It's just, or this exact level. It's going to be the area around it. So a little bit above, a little bit below. You just want to see how we react to that general price action and that general pivot. Jack keeps making Jake money, Switzerland won. Samir, they just don't want. I mean, if you think about it from a positive aspect, you guys are just helping fund your future giveaways. That's all. You guys are giving Jake bets, and you know, he's fading them, and he's winning money to fund future giveaways. It's a good way to look at it. So just a, you know, little halt in giveaways because chat's a bunch of degenerates during the New York session. What we should do is run a poll for soccer games during this chat. And then obviously have Jake run it during his. Just that way we see if you guys are the degenerates or if you know soccer. But even so, like I say that, but I think when we ran a poll, USA was 70-something% in this chat. Is Alan a scalper? Yes and no, Cole. Alan plays the risk to reward that he sees on the chart, and he doesn't really care what it is. You know, I play a lower win rate, which I'm fine with. So I'm used to losing trades. Like right now, like I talked about, my win rate, I think in the past month is 53%, somewhere around there. But it's the risk to reward that gets me green off of that. Because you guys know a lot of my trades are 2.5 plus. So 50% with a 1-to-1 makes you break even. Anything obviously over that on a risk to reward gets you green. Alan, he just plays the what's there on the chart and what he believes is an option. He has no problem taking a 1-hour trade. He has no problem taking a 5-hour trade. It's just what he sees. Hey, just wondering, how do you mentally deal with red days? Stay okay with the loss. Maps. I feel like dealing with those gets easier depending on your typical risk to reward. If you trade 1-to-1s all the time, you don't probably want to see as many red days, red trades, because one trade isn't going to wipe out multiple trades or days worth of losses. So at that point, it matters a lot what your overall win-loss ratio is. For me, though, it's a part of the game. I'm going to lose. I lose in front of hundreds of people. I just lost in front of hundreds of people. It is what it is, you know? It's a part of it. It comes with it. It depends, because some people aren't okay with losing, but you have to get used to it. You're going to lose. You're going to miss thousands of trades in your career, depending on how long you trade. It is just a part of the entire process. And individual days don't matter. They don't. Unless you explode and lose everything, then that day matters a little bit. But if it's to the point where you have 2 losing days in a week, are your green days bigger? That's what matters. 270, hell yeah, TCM. Chat, so far we are holding those lows. So we swept. I do wish we hit the daily low, though. But that daily inside bar can play out. We swept the lows. Now we got to watch lower time frames to see if something sets up. I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't have had any thesis of dip buying 35s. Even though I quite literally did during New York, I believe. Yeah, I quite literally dip bought 35s because that was yesterday's low. But now we just got to see how we react. I really hope it doesn't just rocket up, because now back above 45 and the open, long thesis plays out. But what we want to watch is NQ around the opening print here. Watch how NQ reacts to this. If we reject and start to push back lower, it could just be a little fake out, a little squeeze. But I do think if we get over 550s, you get a lot of conviction back. Hopefully some of you guys that were short were able to capitalize on that move. I re-entered for that long. Hell yeah, MD. How about we don't gamble in a game most of us don't pay attention to during the regular season? Well, yeah, Rob, that's probably a good point. I mean, probably a great point. But chat's a bunch of degenerates. Done for the day? Hell yeah, Maps. You know what's crazy, though? Jake is quite literally gambling, and he doesn't watch soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. Like, doesn't watch it at all, other than the World Cup. And he's winning, which is crazy. Is screaming you to touch grass? Go touch grass, Gaio. What platform do you use now to pull it up? I don't see Lucid trading on TradingView when I try to connect it. Live for Christ. Log onto Lucid. And Chad, don't worry, I'm still watching the charts. I'm not taking a 2-minute failure to go lower into the open if I'm looking along. Go to my portal. And then if you look in the very top right, there's a thing that says show credentials. Click that. And that will be the login info for whatever platform you used. TCM, I'm interested, but now we're just fighting this, right? This was a clear as day support. We broke it flushed. We're retesting. So it's how do we react to this? 15's obviously looking to close stronger. We still have 5 minutes left. I would really hate it if we rip to 50s. But I still think there would be opportunity in there because broader target, you can look up towards 70s. So you have room. And the annoying thing, dude, if this rips, which we don't know if it will yet, right? We can easily reject. If it does rip, there's been so many days I'm just off on timing. Which obviously this is very off. We sold off pretty aggressively. So that was just wrong. Why we love gambling here. Yeah, Andrew, when I was reading, I was looking at Mitch's little breakdown that he posted. And it's just over 50. It squeezes. I mean, we can squeeze from 520 up to 50, which we didn't get to 520. But this whole area, you have decent negative gamma. I would like some type of entry other than a 2-minute. We're just not quite getting it. NQ is ribbon. It is. Now NQ is probably going to go fill the gap. And now NQ has relative strength as well. NQ just hit new highs on the session. Nothing else did across this board. YM struggling a little bit, which means we could be seeing a rotation back into tech on the shorter term. Rotation back into tech on the short term could be good. It is great price action. You just got to find your entries. For me personally on this chart, I just don't have that entry. Unless I was looking to dip by 35, which I would have been more interested in dip buying 30 if I took a dip buy versus 35. But now I want to see, can we get a 5-minute consolidation bar here to give us a strong 15, then maybe the next 15 gets that push. See you, Cole. Yeah, live. It'll be whichever platform you picked for Lucid. When you did select platform, whichever one you picked. If you picked Rhythmic, you can use Trade C. If you picked Trade of 8, you use Trade of 8. Baboosh, where'd you get in? I know at least one person bought 270s because they mentioned it in chat. Are you using ETH levels? Where is 29,273 coming from? Jesus, that is last week's lows. That's all it is. Go to the weekly chart. I mark the low, and that's what it is. I mark that because now I know if we broke below that, we break below last week's low, this chart gets pretty bearish. Where if we hold it, we now have that failure to go lower because we swept the lows again. And now we're looking to the possible upside. Do you normally trade NQ or ES? I mainly trade ES, but I'm open to trading NQ if I like the risk to reward on it. NQ for me is if I can get like a 30, 40 point stop and I'm looking up over 150 points a lot of times. Gael, you know what you should do? Because you said you have a new method to stop overtrading, and if you overtrade, you eat a jalapeno. You'll really stop overtrading up to Scoville unit every single time you overtrade. This 15 is going to close strong. It sucks because I wanted a little bit more, but I wanted the 15 to close around like 46s. Look for a little entry off of that, but we're just getting an aggressive bar. I'm definitely more interested in longs and shorts, fully. He wants me to die? No, that ain't me. That'd be you wanting yourself to die. You're making it easy for you to overtrade. Because the jalapeno, I mean, it sucks, but it ain't crazy. I guarantee you, you get up towards some crazy peppers, you're gonna regret overtrading. Live for Christ. It depends what broker you used. When you clicked get account on them, it depends what you used for that. What up, AF? How you doing? All right, so we have the 15 closing in 20 seconds. Let's see what this 5 does. We're definitely getting a rotation more into tech because YM is struggling, so is RTY. So this isn't like the whole market trending higher, it's just rotating. Are we seeing these change? MU just ripped 2%. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm tempted to take something and just throw a stop like that, but that's more of an aggressive stop. This 5 might be all we get, unfortunately. No matter what, there will be a lot more potential throughout the session just because, I mean, you have room. Hell yeah, Baboosh. Yeah, TZM, it's definitely strong. I just really didn't want to buy a 5-minute into the high of this consolidation. So that's why I'm personally just chilling. Seeing what opportunities kind of set up. What's gold doing? Gold didn't sell off at all with that, which is interesting. Oil's still strong. Dollar's trying to fade a little bit. Nothing crazy though. Let me mark the open. I want to lean up, but I'm not fully convinced yet. Because we're just right back at the rejection area. Now NQ filled the gap. Two minis. TCM, I'm not even in a trade. What you mean 2 minis? If we reject 50s again, this can push right back lower. Hourly pushes back, closes at like 39s. Four hours not safe yet. I'm just watching. I have the dollar on my other monitor. I'm watching it. It's not getting any type of sell-off you would anticipate. NKD is also failing to get over that resistance. I'm going to let this 5 close. This looked very strong, but we're failing pretty quickly. CL does look like it wants to get continuation. I'm paying attention to a lot of different assets right now. If the dollar was weaker, I'd be interested in dip buys off 45, but It's a little strong at the moment, which is why I'm watching this 5 minute to see how we close. So if we close near 45, it could reject, push back below that, below the open, and get that trigger. Do you think NQ will sweep the New York AM low if we get below 270s? Yeah, but we need below 270s. Because for now, all we've done is what we've done in most Asia sessions, where we get a move and we get right back into the range. Up 560 ticks. Love it, man. TCM, are you talking about the long? For me, it's the 15. I want to see towards the later end of this candle to see how it's going to respect. I do agree on the higher time frames. On the 15 minute, it looks good. But I'm also paying attention to aspects like oil and the dollar, with the dollar being strong at the moment. And NKD also selling off. So there's a lot of variables I'm paying attention to with this. If the hourly does close like this, I definitely lean more towards the upside if it closes anywhere above like 50s. But we have a really big resistance at 50 that we just slammed off of. So now you're kind of, and also where would you throw your stop? Because if I get in here, let's say I throw a 5-point stop, if we spike this candle's low, there's a chance we go back down here and just wick me out. I'm just being patient off of what the price action's doing. But I still am interested. Like, I'm interested either way, just because we're in the range. Obviously, I do like the 15. I like the 5 hold of 45 so far. All the indices weaker or stronger. I'm going to try the long here again with a stop at 44. So I got it in at 51. I threw a stop at 44, back below the low, pretty much where it was before. I'm going to watch this 62 area, see how we react to it. But ideally, if we get over 62s, I'd be looking towards like 70s. We're still not out of anything until we get above like 55. So while we're still below 55, it's more neutral than anything. But I like the 15-minute close. I like what the hourly's doing. Obviously, that's not closed yet. The 30-minute looks really good. The dollar's also struggling up here. It's still a little strong, but it's struggling. But when I flipped to this chart, I was paying attention to how YM, RTY, and NQ were reacting as well. And YM looks like it's trying to hold the bottom after hitting last month's highs. RTY's still holding above the open, which is good. So now we just need all of these to kind of get above the open. So YM buying pressure over 160 could help lead to that continuation higher. Alan, that's what I'm looking at, especially because I looked at the gamma profile a little bit. You get over that, you're looking up towards like 185s, and it could move decently quick. So above like 50, 55, you have room towards like 185s. T-Bot, you got in NQ long at 277? Hell yeah. There's a lot of you guys with better entries than me, and I'm fine with that. Only thing I would have done if I wanted a more aggressive entry would have been buying around 45. But I wanted to see how this 5-minute closed. Because I know I personally would have been irritated if I got in this 5-minute before it closed and then it closed down at 45. But this area here can take trims. I'm not opposed to it. If I do, I'll probably take like a small trim. I'll take a little off. But it's not going to be anything crazy. Just pass your eval? Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, TCM. I mean, my initial thesis off the day still fits, and it actually builds now because when you look at the, let's say, 4-hour time frames, we spiked those 4-hour lows. So we're not 4-hour inside bars anymore, which helps build conviction. And at that point, I know also once we retested this, held, got a little bit of a stronger 5-minute close there, as well as looking at the other indices. It looked like it wanted to go more so towards the upside. The dollar's now playing around the open 2. Which, if you remember from the beginning of stream, dollar's at a pretty big resistance. If we reject this, we have a lot of room lower, so this chart can see decent continuation. Should I try to pass another account? I did not read the payout rules properly. I passed on a builder. Side Jeremy, what's the issue with the builder that you don't like? Not the sizing I wanted to be in, unfortunately. It'd be like that, brother. It'd truly be like that at times. When you catch the good trades is when you size down just a little bit. And then when you catch like a little scalp or something like that is when you use aggressive size. What's the side, Jeremy? Do you not think you can get past the buffer requirement? With that account, I would just understand the rules. And if you have to, just slowly trade it, even if it's higher than you expect, and just work your way towards a payout. Just remember, it's not a time game. I do think I can. Then no worries, brother. Rock the account. Congratulations on passing. Now, if you want to get another account that has rules that you love, do it. Just don't trade them together, right? If you have a funded account and eval, it's something I don't love trading together personally. I always want to trade those separate from each other. What's worse than missing a trade is watching it run like this after a quick exit. I agree wholeheartedly. No matter what, because I was going to say like there's the only way that I'm okay with it, but no matter what, it does suck. If you don't execute not even flawlessly, but if it runs farther than you anticipate, yeah. Because you're missing out on profits, even though you're technically not missing out if you followed your trade plan. And then the only thing worse than that is if you force yourself out of it early when you had a bigger trade plan. Which is why I'm taking a little bit off at 62, but nothing aggressive. Because I'm taking 3 of 10 off if we get up there. Where if it rips to, let's say, 80, I'm going to be okay because I still have a majority of the position. And if it pulls back and stops me out in profit, it is what it is. So let's push all the way back below there to there. I'm going to raise my stop to 47. So that dropped risk by almost like 40%, somewhere around there. What up, Johnson? How you doing? NQ's 30-minute candle hilarious right now. What? How strong it is? All right, we got 9 seconds left in it. Give us a stronger close. I don't love that rejection out the gate. Bro, if this slams back lower. So far we have hit 55. The reason I put the stop where I did is looking at this 15-minute chart. I don't see a world where I would want this back down here. I'm actually going to lower it to 65 though, 6.5 though. But I don't see a world where this should go back down here on this 15 if it's going to continue. If we get back down there, we're likely stuck in a broader range and there ain't really shit for me to do. But I want to see us consolidate up near the highs of this candle and then get the continuation above 55 if we can get it. Yeah, Elder, it'd be like that. I mean, I could look at my trade and say, oh, this is a late entry, but this is where I was willing to enter. Anywhere between like 45 and 50 is where I was willing to enter. YM rejected the open. Dollar's still looking a little bit weaker. Oil's trying to reject as well. Oil daily looks strong, but I still need more conviction before longs on that. Because one candle's not going to trap me in. Divergence seemed to have switched up again. Yeah, it looks like we're trying to rotate back into tech. We'll see if NQ gets the respect it wants at the moment. But for me, it's looking off the daily chart. If you look at NQ, it makes sense for buyers to try to step in here. This is a huge daily support. If we lose this, I think NQ flushes pretty aggressively. I mean, we're talking 1,000 points to the next daily target. But if we hold this, we're still in the range. ES looks for a daily higher low. Still in this range with room up towards 600. It wouldn't be crazy if this daily candle rallied back into 7,600 and then we close somewhere between like 585 and 7,600 tomorrow. And then obviously if that breaks, then you have a very strong daily chart. No, Elder, I don't want to retest at the open. If anything, I would want us to continue holding this like 50 support. Especially on the 15. Obviously, you could get a wider candle back towards the open, but I really wouldn't want to see us below this prior 15-minute low, which is why my stop is where it is now. And if it pulls back, stops me out, I don't even know. The dollar is currently selling like I want it to, but the indices aren't quite reflecting that. I don't love this little pullback, but we're still fighting 50, which I'm okay with. So we knew 55 was a big resistance. I mean, if we get 2 trades where we go up like just under 1 R and it stops, is what it is. It was a solid rejection. It was. And I don't like how solid it is. So I mean, we got the close on every time frame that I want other than the hourly. So I don't like the hourly pushing back lower, but we would need buying pressure in the next 20 minutes. Right now, we're trying to find the overall support if it's going to hold, which I don't love where my stop is, but I'd rather have it there in case we lose this area than down here. The reason I'm watching the chart so adamantly is I'm just deciding if I want to put my stop where it was and just respect the original stop or leave it. Because I know I'd be more irritated if it came down, spiked this, and then went versus if it came all the way down to my actual stop. So I think for now, I am just going to put it lower, accept that stop, and just leave it. If we get above 55, I'll look to move it. What up, IAG? You think it'll take New York AM low before turning bullish? It could. Yeah, TCM. That's what I'm looking at. I just know if this volatility continued and let's say we spike this candle's low and it hit me at 6.5, that would probably irritate me if that held and then it ripped versus leaving it where I initially had it. But we do have this larger support around 50 that we are watching to see if it can continue to hold. Biggest thing for me, though, is I just think we have room on ES. If this obviously wants to get continuation, we have big resistance at 65, 70s. Over 70s, though, it opens up a lot of upside throughout the overnight. This trade, I wouldn't be looking for that far, but C-Dub. I'm gonna run a new pull though, because that was the old one before we made the sell-off and rally. So I want to see how chat's feeling now. If this 5-minute higher lows, I'm loving it. Whole Ray, we don't have that command. I mean, I could make a command, but the problem is for you guys to answer, if I do it through stream elements, you'd have to put exclamation mark, then the exact answer every time. Yeah, TCM, not even just the 30 though. Because if you look at the multi-time frame analysis to this, and I'll go to this chart. If you look at all of this, if the 15 and the 5, like the 5 buys here, then we look for the 15 to try to break 55. That breaks, you have the 30 with a stronger close that can look for that continuation. Target would be upwards around 70. At that point, the hourly would close strong. If the hourly gets that push as well, you have the 4-hour big fill to go lower at a massive support, which opens up a lot of upside room. So no matter what, the risk reward perspective there is for me wholeheartedly. I still think this is probably going to be a very reserved trim at 62s. I'm not in love with it, to be honest, because I kind of want to hold for longer, but I am going to take some off there. How's Chad feeling? Randy, I'm just asking if Chad's bullish or bearish. Rain, the glorious thing is until you do one of those with a keyword that I have set, StreamBot won't care at all. Al Brooks is a legend. I still haven't read his book, though. I haven't. More bullish than motherfucker? Agreed. I'm definitely way more bullish than bearish. So far, CJ, so far. Waiting for a little pullback and you're in. Yeah, we got one there. And I know a lot of people got in lower. I was okay with getting in here, but I wanted to see how this 5-minute closed once it started to reject 50 again. Just to make sure we didn't get a more bearish close and this was like a failure. So I know for a fact I got slightly later entry, but I think risk to reward's still worth it as a whole. Alan, I think consistency on Apex. I don't think they have consistency on evals. Aiden's a bot. Love that. Main reason I want to take some off at 62s is this end of day consolidation on ES. I don't think we just break through this. If we do, we can ride. We're going to get some serious momentum. But I think we might struggle a little bit here, so I'd rather take some off. Worst case as well, this is an eval, so there's a chance that I start to get a little close to it liquidating me. But worst case as well, I would watch this. If it sets a higher low structurally that I love, I'd be willing to add the contracts back into it. Is Apex evals 50%? I haven't traded Apex in months. Yeah, and I'm just being a little reserved on some. I have 3 contracts out of the 10 to go off there. But that's more of just like a precautionary trim for the most part. And just, securing a little bit of a dub. Because I think at that point with that trim, if I take that off and it goes like break even, I would be even on the session. See you, MD. Hope everything goes well, brother. One day to pass. That's what I thought. I'm pretty sure Apex is just 1 day to pass. But they do have something to know. Apex is 50% on fundeds, I believe. Is this a new long? Yes, Logan. Yep, you can always look right below my picture to see position. Yeah, 50 unfunded. The only qualm I have with Apex is the $1,000 daily loss limit. I don't like it. Even if if I'm trading slightly aggressive, I get they're gonna say it protects a trader, but it also kind of prevents people from recovering on days. Because the reason I don't like it as well is, let's say you're down 600 on the day or 700. You're really fighting the daily loss limit aspect at that point. And that's what I don't love doing. I'd rather have an account with no daily loss limit personally. So if you want to, you can take another trade to try to recover it if you see a valid setup. Yeah, Apex, you can trade up to 20 accounts, 1 day to pass. 50% consistency rule. They do approve the payouts within like an hour. And just know, usually it's like 5 to 10 days, somewhere in there, for the payout to actually hit your account. But they approve it quick. You can still trade quick because they take the money out of your account, which is good. And then, like I said, 20 accounts. But with that, we do have code RAKE if you want to use Apex. So if you want to support the giveaways that will eventually return when you guys stop degenerately gambling against Jake, that's how to do it. But no, I do like trading Apex if I want to copy trade. At some point, I don't know when, but at some point I do plan to return to Apex and just try to stack fundeds. If I do that, I'm just going to trade them small, like $150, $200 risk for like 2-3 hour trades and just try to slow roll them for payouts. That is true. Yes, that is something you deal with as well. You also have to, their customer, you just got to catch them on a good day too. Because sometimes you can tell with the support when chat in general and their customers are just being absolute dicks. Oh, don't do it. Since I'm only trimming a small size here, I'm just going to take the trim at 60. So I took a trim at 60 and then I'm sliding this higher. I don't want to be a dick for a tick and have it pull back. So got to trim off. If that's your broader target, hell yeah. Got something off around 1.5, technically green on the session. At this point, we shouldn't get back below 55s wholeheartedly. We should not visit back there. So I'm gonna throw stop. I'll throw stop at break even at 51 for now. Give it a little bit of breathing room if it still wants to bring volatility in. So far though, the dollar continues to look weak. Phenomenal. Right? If the dollar rejects here too, if we reject this high, this big resistance, like you can see it clear as day on the dollar. If you know charts, it makes sense. If we reject this, you can start to look for something like this, possibly this on an extreme level, which at that point would put ES most likely fighting towards yesterday's highs, which is 600 from Asia session last night. Now, I'm not saying that's like the target, but that'd be a cool spot to get to. Finally giving Lucid a real try. Hell yeah, stock market, baby. I have a Lucid eval running as well from the 50% off that I got from them. Rain, it's a good thing it hit that target, so that way we don't have to know you're going through that struggle personally. So I'm glad it hit 60.75 for you. Got in at 40.75. Hell yeah, brother. Dick for a tick. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm willing to be a dick for a tick, but not right now. I'm taking those 3 home with me. They're getting out. Let me throw... Oh, wrong button. Not a bad little trade so far, though. 1.5R. Yeah, 1.5R. We are 10 minutes away from the hourly, which is crazy. It's already been 2 hours. So we need to see how this goes. AXP, you and me both. I went long here and got stopped out. And then we hit the dip. Obviously, I didn't buy the dip, but I bought within the trend. Which this is a really good example. If you miss a broader entry, there's always more. If you missed a buy down here that you were watching, okay. Retest of the open, could have entered. This pullback right here, could have entered. There's a lot of opportunities within an actual strong trend. Rain, it depends on how you're feeling for that. But yeah. My bad. Oh, wait, read that. CJ passed my very first eval at them, but really screwed me with how read that. Watching MM5 again from rake trades from November 2022. Mentors are J Groove and Rong. Or moderators. Hell yeah, user. Back then, I'm pretty sure in Mastermind 5, I was every single session. Because there was a point in time I did every single Mastermind session that I was the moderator on. And dude, those months were so brutal. They were fun, but they were brutal with work. CJ, I'm not going to say the name out loud, but I mean, I wouldn't be upset if that happened to me because of the company. Like, that's one firm and I just don't love just because like yeah. I don't want to go too, but yeah, you know. Y'all, if you know, you know. If you don't, oh well. You were there for MM6 for sure. Yep. Yeah, I did a lot of calls for masterminds. Like most people don't know, I did. When Jake said masterminds were a lot of work, if people hesitated on the course and they were just wondering like if it was for them, I did personal calls with people to make sure it truly like fit them. Most people are gonna look at it as like sales calls, but I never pushed it onto anyone. Like if people are financially strapped, I'd be like, this isn't for you, brother. Don't go in debt, take out a loan to try to take a trading course. It ain't worth it. But I was doing, it was like 4 days straight of 12 to 14 hours of calls. Hell yeah, SO. I did a lot of calls. It was cool talking to people, but it sucked. Especially when people no-show. Because it's not like I could go do anything. Like someone would no-show at 1 p.m. And I'd have to wait 10 minutes to make sure they were going to show up or not. And then I have 50 minutes before my next one. So like, what am I going to do in 50 minutes? I wasn't financially strapped good. But no, I'm always that way. If someone's financially strapped, like I won't do one-on-ones with them because I don't want them to be in the market if they're financially strapped. I won't try to sell them on anything at all. I'll just tell them to try watching you. Now I'll tell them watch YouTube, learn for free. What happened to all I do is trade? She's still there. She just doesn't talk a lot in the Discord. We still have J-Babs. We still have Ali. The only one that's not there anymore is Mike. Because Mike went into a big boy trading job and he wasn't allowed to be in it. See you later, AXP. I mean, I guess slow for days, maybe in a week or a month. Yeah, Vish, that's unfortunate with the inactivity rule. And I feel like what they would likely tell you on that, because I'm going back in chat, making sure I read everything. What they would likely tell you on that is it's not going to be hard to log in and just trade one micro for 30 seconds at some point during the day. But no, their support is Apex. You just got to catch their support on a good day. On a bad day, it ain't the greatest, but they probably get so much shit because there's so much hate on Apex, which I understand people getting it, but it's still a phenomenal prop firm for what they offer. And like the pro, he really put me on the flex. I love the flex accounts. I just like the fact that, because you guys know me, if I absolutely love a setup, especially during Asia, I have no problem going my full size, which is 2 ES. I have no problem with it at all. Obviously, lately, I'm not sizing aggressive just because Asia session has been kicking my absolute shit for some reason, at least this first 2 hours. But when I'm loving the market, when I'm doing well, I have no problem sizing up in Asia and just letting it ride, which is why I like using the flexes. What moving averages are you using? I don't use them, but 9, 20, 50. CJ, I know people who had, because there's certain firms where if you mess with their customer support, they will just straight rock your shit. They do not care. They have like a no tolerance policy. And I know Apex is one of them. I know someone that cussed out their customer support and they were like, fine, you want to be like that? GG's your 3 funded accounts and never trading with us again. And that person came to me and they're like, dude, what the hell? They show me their chat log. I'm like, brother, if you're just going to be a complete dick to them and cuss them out, I get it. Like it's in their TOS. They can do that. Don't cross that boundary. Vish, that just means you didn't sign up for it. I had a call with you? Hell yeah, Daniel. I guarantee you a lot of you from the calls, but if I saw your face, I would know exactly who you are. Wait, CJ, you brought that up to them? What we just referenced before but didn't talk about? If so, that is diabolical. If you brought that up. So it's been so long since mastermind calls. I would just need, name wise, I am horrible. Face wise, I'm perfectly fine. But name wise, I am the absolute worst. That's why when I talk to someone, I usually make sure I mention their name multiple times in a conversation. But it's even like that with songs in movies. Someone will mention like, oh, that one song by someone, or I'll know a song in my head and I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I don't. That's just some aspect where my memory just doesn't click as well as it should. Your face is in your pic. You mean the tiny ass picture that I can't see? That pic? I don't. Oh, wait. You look familiar. Oh, 2020. You want me to remember something from 4 years ago? Vish, there's a reason I'm not mentioning it. Like it is quite literally like Voldemort's name. I don't want bad blood. Why don't I remember what? Well, brother, first off, I'm on absolute fucking 11 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. I'm going to have trouble remembering no matter what. Especially because I ran out of creatine. So I can't just triple dose creatine and be locked in. I was wearing a white button up. Do you think? That one person in a white button up. I got it. Vish, it's just been so long. And also during those calls, like I said, I would do 3 to 4 days of 12 hours of calls straight. There was a time, one of the masterminds we launched while I was in California. I think Jake had like a private concert for all of his high school friends, which most people don't know he did, which is insane. I was up to like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had to be up at 6 to do calls. And I did like 10 hours of calls after that night. Tucked away in like a little corner in Jake's house in LA, just doing mastermind calls, talking to people. Riz, no. If you're talking to me, no, I don't just trade the 5 minute. I watch the 5 minutes so we can actually just watch candles move. This is how I typically trade. Why isn't this changing? There we go. I trade the 5-15 hourly 4 hour. This is my textbook trading setup, but I'm not going to show this on stream first off because the charts are very freaking small and it's a lot of shit going on. I do this so we can just watch ES and Q, and then I'll flip between other names as I want to look at them. Yeah, there's just been a lot of work over the years. A lot of trial and error, a lot of work. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned in your time trading? It's very simple. The biggest lesson is just respect your risk. Wholeheartedly. You can get by in trading if you just respect your risk. And it's if you have any type of positive risk to reward, you only need a 50% win rate, which isn't that hard to achieve, even if you're struggling a little bit or in a funk. And that's just how I view it. You always want your winners to be bigger than your losers, obviously. But where a lot of people blow up is they'll have 50 to 70% win rates and they'll still be eating accounts because they don't respect the risk. And they size up, they size aggressively, and they blow accounts. And it's just, once you understand that principle, trading becomes a lot easier. And it becomes more of like a statistical game. Are you talking about me? I'm talking about everybody. I guarantee you there's a large portion of chat that's been like that at one point. Chat, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw TradeFi's new reel, but I thought it was funny as hell. It's a picture of TradingView and a picture of the bedroom saying, what can you say in both? And I think I have one of the best comments on there. Likewise, it's not the best, but something you can say while trading and in the bed. Mine was, I wish I had more size. I feel like it's one of the greatest things you could say. I think one of the other ones was, I love this position. Perfect comment. Dude, agreed. The second I saw that, I'm like, normally I don't reply to these, but this one I have to. Perfect time for Ollie to pop in. He's probably been lurking. Actually, he's 13th on the leaderboard right now. Vish is that top fan again. Vish, how the hell are you 75 points above everybody else again? How are you just leading the charge here? Fire comment going to leg it right now. Appreciate you, my guy. If we have a third of the people in stream go like it, then, you know, now I'm top comment. Possible lower high on ES hourly? Yeah, possible lower high. It just, that's a very strong close. That's not something I'm going to fade. We're definitely at a resistance, which we talked about this area. We're obviously been struggling here a little bit. If we pull back, we pull back. I'm going to move stop to 52.5s though. So I'll trail that a little bit. Not aggressively. Just because we could easily reject this, push back a little bit. So I'm going to leave that for now. Took MNQ longs and MES, holding MES runner now. Great trade. Hell yeah, Blambo. Where'd you get in at? Gold is playing around. What's gold doing? Yeah, it is. I still like gold. Call me insane because the daily looks like shit. The 4-hour looks like shit. I like gold longs in this area because of this support. I truly do. Am I going to trade it? No, probably not. But I like the thought of it. Yeah, I am TradeWap. I don't even see grass. Vish, that's what we got windows for, brother. That's what we got windows for. What are you talking about, Vish? Little rejection here. To be honest, I don't want to see us below 55. I don't even know if I want to see us at 55. Hang on, let me look at the different time frames real quick. 15. I don't love it. I mean, I like the hourly, but there's no conviction there. It's a strong hourly close for sure, but it doesn't have to continue. I don't want to see us really even get to 55 here. So I'm trailing even more to 54. And yeah, I'm being a little aggressive on this stop, which I'm cool with. I don't want to see us at 55. I don't want to see us lose this little 5-minute area here. I don't hate the thought of us building a consolidation below this resistance, but I don't want to see us lose that. What do you think about NQ short at the top of the range? Is it at the top of the range? You talking about around this? Hardest part for me, and it depends on your strategy. So, I mean, we're rejecting this little low. So obviously around here, we have some resistance, right? Between 535 and like 565s, there's a decent bit of resistance there. If we can't get over that, we can easily push lower. What I'm kind of watching for now is if we do reject on this hourly, pushes the 4-hour back lower, can create more of a doji aspect, which is why I trailed my stop a little more. So I'm anticipating if this does pull back, that to play out, which can open up a lot of room in this hourly candle. And I'm not going to be in love with a bigger pullback, personally. So I don't even want to play around with a wider stop. I thought about trailing it even more, but I don't want to be too aggressive with it. It is what it is if it pulls back more, though. No, Blambo agreed. I want everyone to talk as much as they want to. Because also it keeps the chat active. That's why I love Bish. He's always in here yapping. Are you select or growth? I'm select right now. I've rotated from growths to selects just because of the funded process with it. What do you think about Starbucks? Also, did MU just rip 4% after hours? Because it was down 2.6% earlier. Bro, Bish, don't stop talking. Keep yapping, Bish. Chat's obviously noticing you. Zay, I see what you're looking at with the weekly. I see what you're looking at with the monthly. Over last month's high. I feel like that's the easiest way to do it. I like the 5-day select too. That's what I'm trading. As I get them funded, I keep doing the 5-day. To be fair though, chat, Vish is the #1 supporter. Vish, have you won a giveaway before? Because I will say, we're looking into something with giveaways. That's all I'm going to hint at, but we're looking into something. At least for some of the giveaways. Zay, I see what you're looking at wholeheartedly. If this monthly can get back over 105s, I think it's gone. Give me a strong weekly close with a fail to go lower, maybe even up around like 106s. And this thing goes. At least it should go. We need to see what tomorrow does off this daily. I would love for this daily, because obviously Starbucks doesn't trade perfect on the individual candle aspect. I would love for this daily to be looked at as a consolidation bar and go for the quote unquote 3-bar play. And here's something a lot of people don't look at the way I do, which it is what it is. This is obviously a pretty bearish trend bar, right? A little more of a red body than a green body. We do have a lower wick, but when I look at stuff like 3-bar plays, I look at the overall structure aspect of the candle. For me, this candle sits here, right? This candle is consolidating at the highs of that candle. At that point, I don't care that this is red because we are now back up at the highs of this candle. All a 3-bar play is a consolidation near the highs of the prior candle, in which if you break that, then you look for continuation. So I look at this as more of a potential upside 3-bar play if we do get continuation. Obviously a big if because of the failure on the daily. But no, I see exactly what you're looking at, Zach. Trade swap, that's why I like it. It's only because you like me. Appreciate you, Vish. Nah, Vish, don't take anything the chat's saying bad at all. Because you can tell they mean it from love. But Vish, have you won a giveaway? I have actually won. Bet. Because I'll sneak a little tidbit out there about giveaways. Obviously, we're going to run normal giveaways when you guys quit gambling them away. So y'all need to help us be able to do giveaways as much as we need to help you. Y'all gotta stop gambling and losing. If you're gonna gamble, at least win. What was I gonna say? Oh, we're trying to figure out if there's a way to lean giveaways towards like the supporters, like the people that are actually showing up every day, even lurkers, right? You're not left out. Obviously, people who chat are just more noticed, but I know there's a lot of people that lurk throughout the entire stream. And we're trying to figure out how to like boost you guys up a little bit. Which we obviously put sub-only mode in my chat. I think it's 1 minute. I might up it to 5, which isn't going to be insane at all. But the reason I do it is because I want newer people to be able to ask questions. I don't want someone to feel like they're required to sub, even though they are, but they're required to sub for a minute. But we want to find a way to kind of support people that lurk and talk. And you're just supporting us, you know? Because obviously we've had a lot of people that have won giveaways the first day on stream and then we never saw them again. Which, if so, congrats. But we want the loyalists and the actual people supporting. Lurkers, fucking lurkers. There's lurkers everywhere, dude. Because that's the thing. There's maybe 15, 20 of you guys talking right now. But there's still 150 in here. At the high, we were up around 200, which is sick. Especially after yesterday's numbers, which just shows it was the USA game for the most part. But no, we appreciate everybody who supports. Lurkers, that's from Pineapple Express. I haven't seen that movie in forever. Young Finesse, 50K. That is the only account size I trade unless Jake just randomly gives me like a 25K. I love the 50s. Only gamble you can't lose makes winning. I think it's the saying. That's fair. To be fair, though, I mean, what chat's technically gambling is just they're gambling the giveaways they haven't gotten yet. So I respect it. You're gambling for more that you also haven't gotten yet. So it's like you're not losing anything. You're just not getting the giveaways. But I need you guys to do better so we can start running giveaways. I mean, poor Alan has people asking his entire stream for giveaways, and he can't do them. Yeah, Mudbud, I know, brother. A lot of people lurk, they're driving, because my time is also the end of work for a lot of people that are PST. And across just these different time frames, obviously it's morning across the world, and I think like Australia. So people are probably driving to work or getting ready for work. So I know a lot of people lurk. That's also when I run my giveaways, it's like 4 minutes. So people have time to get in. Yeah, Aiden's, I have mine I like to front run round numbers when I target them. Obviously, if you look at this little consolidation, this range, there's a high at 71.25. I could target that The way I look at it in front running, I like the higher probability of guaranteeing a trim for me. So I front run the psychological numbers. I front run like little resistance areas to get that trim versus because I've used to be like, all right, here's the exact level. I have to set a trim there. It's going to hit that. And then you watch it wick by a couple ticks. And you can only take so much of that before you just start front running stuff. But I front run most areas for me. So I have mine at 69.75. No, EOB. Well, yes and no. I trade the same risk, but I do not trade the same size because 10 MES is not the same risk as 10 MNQ. And anyone that has traded MNQ knows that. So when I trade MNQ, depending on stop, I think I'm usually like 4 to 6 contracts. If I see something where it's a crazy stop and I'm talking like 20 points, then I have no problem sizing up a little bit. Maybe I'll risk 400 on that trade and I'll use 10 MNQ. But for me, yes, I size down when I go to NQ because the risk parameters are different on NQ versus ES. Appreciate you, Broccoli. I usually watch on TV. Yep. I know a lot of people do. I think we ran a poll before and it was primarily PC, but it's still a decent chunk of people on PC or on TV and mobile. Yeah, and you just have to be okay. Like, you're going to miss it, like that couple extra points. But for me, I play the probability of getting the fill versus getting those extra couple points. And you obviously saw it down here. I had this trim at 62. We came up, missed it by a couple ticks at that point. If I'm looking for a trim or if I'm looking for a full out, I have no problem just exiting. Because we have a saying that we do, and it's don't be a dick for a tick. $15-minute had a good lower wick, but we are still fighting 65. 63, not 65. If we get over this area, though, there's room. Two MNQ is the equivalent to 5 MES. True. Fucking true, dude. Obviously, structure depends as well. But let's just say you get in on this 5-minute trigger right here. That's 5.25 points. So that's not crazy risk. Like if you're using a full ES, that's what, $300 risk on that trade? Where if you get in the exact same on NQ, that's almost 1,000 with the same amount of contracts. So that's why I sized down. Because the overall percentage return on NQ is almost 2 times the amount as ES. When you look at the P&L return per tick. Also, chat, one thing I will say is if you like the stream for giveaways, you better be liking the stream when we don't do giveaways. We are at 88 right now, which is pretty embarrassing after 2 hours. Not going to lie. I at least want triple digits. And I know 100 ain't asking for much. But we got a green trade. We're up on the day. We need at least 100. Pretty soon, though, I will be hopping off. Just because we're kind of stagnant, I'll be leaving stop where it is, depending on structure, obviously. If we do get over this like 64s area, I'll be trailing up towards 56. I will unlike and relike. Appreciate you. Dollars fighting the open from below. I would love a rejection. What's NKD doing? Vibing so far. Kospi's ripping, but I don't have live data on this. So that's 15 minutes ago. So that's important to note. Everything is above the open. Everything's fighting some type of resistance. We have RTY around 304s. YM around 53 200s. NQ's fighting this consolidation as well, around 560s. So now it's just a game of seeing, is this going to hold as a resistance, or are we going to be able to consolidate and eventually get above it? That works unliking and reliking? No. That just gets rid of your like and puts it back on the stream. That's all that does. Does absolutely nothing. It's kind of like putting exclamation mark enter 5 times. It looks good on your end, but it only gets you 1 entry. I'm slow. It's all right, SO. It's okay. A little bit more of a 2-minute push here. What's the 15 look like? Hourly. Hourly is more of a doji. Well, consolidation candle, which I'm fine with. I think I'm gonna leave stop where it is, which means I would give back a decent chunk of profits. But I'm willing to risk that. So, I mean, even in this part of the trade, let's say we take it from up here, throw stop where it is versus overall target. It's not crazy. I mean, it's just under 1R towards that. But I think there's potentially more upside if we do get above 70. So that's why I'm willing to hold this one versus just taking full at like 63s. I just don't love the dollar getting some strength here. Gold has really been struggling. Oil is still pushing lower, which is good. Dollar strength. I think oil, if it wants to pull back, this thing can get aggressive. I mean, there's a lot of room. I don't plan on trading it until the daily sets up some decent structure, but it has room. Chad, I think I'm just going to call it. Because the only thing you can do is really just manage this trade. And to be honest, if I'm in it, I just have bracket order set. So I'm probably going to leave it that way. My stop is 54. I don't blame anyone if they have a tighter stop. If you're in this trade anywhere, right? I don't blame it if it's anywhere below this low. Because in reality, I don't want to see us really lose that. If we lose that, we'd likely head back towards 55s. If we get to 55s, 54 is probably going to get hit. But I'm going to leave that trail stop. If we get above 63s, I plan to move the stop up towards like 56s. So 2 more points up. And I'd be targeting my next trim at just front running 570s, which I think I have 4 contracts set to trim. So it'd be a majority of the position that's left. But I think there, I'm going to wrap it up. If this stops me out, we end slight green on the day, which not bad for the session. I'll take it. And other than that, I think we're chilling. But appreciate you guys being on. We got good numbers again today. Love to see it. Appreciate you guys being here, especially with no giveaways. But to be fair, that's your own fault. You'll figure it out eventually. Alan's on 1 a.m. Eastern. Y'all know it. If I'm on the later half of that stream, yell at me. That's all I'm going to say. If I'm on at like past 2 a.m., fucking yell at me. Because I need to go to bed by then. Other than that, y'all have a great rest of your night. I will see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. Y'all have a good one.